Hosted in conjunction with Chris Media, the CEO interview series allows investors to hear directly from the CEOs leading the companies featured on Wholesale Investor. Enjoy the interview and reach out via the details in the description.
Hello and welcome to another CEO interview for Chris Media. Today we have Charlie Dowsett from Magnium. Welcome, Charlie.
Thanks, Megan. It's lovely to be here, and thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for coming. So first of all, Charlie, could you talk us through the business and give us a bit of an executive summary of Magnium?
So at Magnium, we are commercialising some CSIRO innovation in technology, and that innovation is in the refining process of producing magnesium metal. What that technology is doing is able to produce magnesium at much more efficiently and with a zero carbon footprint.
Brilliant, fantastic. And what was the main motivation behind this solution?
So there was a number of problems we were looking at, what was sort of occurring globally in the world, so our founders were looking at, okay, if we're moving to a world of decarbonisation, what does that mean, and what is critical for that environment? So people don't really realise or understand, magnesium. They've heard magnesium as a vitamin supplement, but they don't appreciate where magnesium comes into their everyday life.
Yeah.
So magnesium is a critical mineral for the EV sector, so electric vehicles. If you want to improve the efficiency of an electric vehicle, you make it lighter.
Okay.
So the properties of magnesium is it's 75% lighter than steel with the same strength. And if you alloy that with aluminium, you make aluminium 33% lighter. So it is critical for the decarbonisation of where we're going in the world and other aspects of it. So what else was occurring in sort of the world markets is that there's a heightened geopolitical risk associated with the production of critical minerals. And at the moment, China produces 90% of the global production of magnesium metal. And we saw through COVID that supply chain got disrupted. Then is the other element with magnesium. It is the traditional process. It's called the pigeon process. Is a high energy usage manufacturing process. It has a very high carbon footprint, and it also has a very high toxic level in their slag and waste materials. So this technology solves those three critical points. We remove the carbon footprint. Remove the toxicity out of the production process, and we, I suppose, for our aligned partners and trading partners, remove some of that geopolitical risk associated with supply chain manufacturing. Okay,
brilliant. And can your technology be applied to any other critical metals?
Yes, so magnesium is closely aligned actually with lithium and also with some calcium and sodium, but we are a magnesium company first, and we will deliver on magnesium, but very quickly we should be able to apply a technology to some of these other critical minerals.
Fantastic. So do you have any other competitors in the market, and how do you stand up against those competitors?
Yes, so there are some competitors primarily trying to solve the problem of supply chain issues in the magnesium market. So what they're doing is they have taken the old pigeon process and trying to modernise that process, and there's some developments in Australia and also in the USA. But inherently, that is still a highly inefficient in terms of energy use process. There's still associated toxicity with some of the waste products, a high carbon footprint relative, and relative to our production process. There's a higher operating cost, almost to 2/3 of what we're producing at.
Oh wow, that's amazing. So obviously behind the business you must have a fantastic team. Could you tell us a bit more about the skills that team bring?
Yeah, so we, firstly is, on the ground is our engineering team. So they were developed out of, they developed their skills and their knowledge and research through CSIRO, but they've also had applied experience in developing large-scale plants. So they've been very involved in building titanium plants. And magnesium is a critical mineral in the production of titanium. And they've also been almost there from the start in building and developing this technology within the labs and our pilot program with CSIRO.
Amazing. Fantastic. So can you tell us a bit more about what this next 6 to 12 months looks like for Magnium?
Yeah, so we're busy developing our first pilot plant. That's down in Clayton in Victoria. So that plant will prove a continuous process. So that's a strong or a big engineering hurdle that you have to prove to the market in that process. So that is fully funded, and we will deliver that by December.
Brilliant.
I suppose, and what this capital round is for is to get ahead. We want to then develop or prove a commercial scale pilot plant. So that is, and that will be done by September of next year.
Fantastic. That's super exciting. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Charlie. I think you've given the listeners a really good insight of what you guys are doing and what's next. If you would like to hear more from Charlie, you can just scan the QR code that's going to be up on the screen now. That will take you into their deal room, and you can find a bit more about the company and start speaking to Charlie. But thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me, and I hope I've at least sparked some interest in the market there.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.